안녕하세요 여러분. 저는 중급반 선생님 그레이스.
저는 스캇입니다. Before starting today's class, we will first check the correct answer to the homework given in the last class. This is the correct answer to homework. First, 저는 회사에 가다가 자주 카페에 가서 커피를 사요. It means when I go to work, I often go to cafes to buy coffee. Second, 성경을 읽다가 어려운 단어를 찾게 되면 검색을 해요. When I find a difficult word while reading the Bible, I search for it. Third, 오렌지 주스를 마시다가 사례에 걸렸어요. It means I got sick while drinking orange juice. Fourth, 오늘 너무 피곤해서 친구 집에서 잠깐 자다가 집으로 갔어요. It means I was so tired today that I slept at a friend's house for a while and went home. Last one, 바깥에 눈이 내리다가 갑자기 우박이 떨어져요. It means it's snowing outside and suddenly hail falls. Yes, have you all done well with forgetting your homework? Wow, that's great.
Well, before starting today's class, we will review what we learned last time. Do you remember the 다가 we learned last time? Let's review about 다가. It is a connecting ending that connects two sentences. And it is used when an action or state is interrupted and is changed to another action or state. For example, there is a sentence, 길을 걷다가 신호등 앞에서 멈췄어요. Can you see the use of 다가 when the action in the preceding sentence stops and changes to another action?
Yes, but when do we use 다가? Teacher Grace?
다가 has the same form which does not change depending on the final consonant or not. First, if you remove 다 from the basic form of a verb, the stem will remain in the verb. After that, 다가 is added.
Next, if there is a final consonant in the stem of a verb, 다가 is used. For example, if you look at the verb 읽다, is there a consonant? After that, 다가 is used. Then it becomes 다가. No, 읽다가. Then it becomes 읽다가. Also, 다가 is used even if there is no final consonant in the stem of a verb. For example, if you look at the verb 가다, there is no final consonant, right? After that, 다가 is used, then it becomes 가다가.
Then, we will explain more easily through example sentence in which grammar is applied. Yes, this is the first example sentence. 날씨가 맑다 and 갑자기 흐려졌어요. When we remove the from the verb 맑다, we can use 다가. So when we combine these two sentences, it becomes 날씨가 맑다가 갑자기 흐려졌어요.
This is the second example sentence. 아이가 잠을 자다 깼어요. When we remove the from the verb 자다, we can use 다가. So it becomes 아이가 잠을 자다가 깼어요.
This is the third example sentence. 영화를 보다 잤어요. When we remove 다 from the verb 보다, we can use 다가. So it becomes 영화를 보다가 잤어요.
Yeah, this is the first example sentence. 물을 마시다 바닥에 흘렸어요. When we remove 다 from the verb 마시다, we can use 다가. So it becomes 물을 마시다가 바닥에 흘렸어요.
This is the fifth example sentence. 책상을 옮기다 허리를 다쳤어요. When we remove 다 from the verb 옮기다, we can use 다가. So it becomes 책상을 옮기다가 허리를 다쳤어요.
Yes, thank you, Grace. Next, I will give you the content for today's class. First, let's learn the grammar concepts of Korean. Second, let's do some problem solution to practice the grammar we learned. Third, after solving the problem, we will learn the concept by applying our knowledge. First, we will practice by repeating the conversation directly through conversation class. Lastly, we will take the time to organize the class and announce the homework.
Yes, thank you. Then we will start the class. Today what we will learn is 는 것. 는 것 is used after the stem of a verb. It is an expression that makes verbs be used like nouns in sentence. It can be used like a noun in front of 이다. So after 는 것, particles such as 은는, 이가, 을을, or 이다 can be used.
For example, there is a sentence 저는 뛰는 것을 좋아합니다. Here, 뛰는 것 is a noun that is a conjugation of a basic verbs 뛰다. Do you understand?
Ah, I see. But what kind of form is used for 는 것?
Let me explain. 는 것 has the same form which does not change depending on the final consonant or not. First, if you remove 다 from the basic form of a verb, the stem will remain in the verb. After that, 는 것 is added.
For example, if you look at the verb 읽다, is there a final consonant? After that, 는 것 is used. Then it becomes 읽는 것. Also, 는 것 is used even if there is no final consonant in the stem of the verb. For example, if you look at the verb 보다, there is no final consonant, right? After that, 는 것 is used. Then it becomes 보는 것. Can you see the same form with or without final consonant in the stem of the verb?
Yeah, it's really like that, but there is one exception. If there is a final consonant, 리을, at the verb, remove the 리을 and add the 는 것. For example, there is a sentence, 제 남동생은 밖에서 노는 것을 좋아합니다. Here, because the base verb 놀다 has the final consonant 리을, 리을 is removed and 는 것 are added. It's really easy.
Yes. Then shall we learn more through example sentence? This is the first example sentence. 제 취미는 음악을 듣다이에요. When we remove 다 from the verb 듣다, we can use 는 것. So it becomes 제 취미는 음악을 듣는 것이에요.
Yeah, this is the second example sentence. 저는 운동하다를 싫어해요. When we remove 다 from the verb 운동하다, we can use 는 것. So it becomes 저는 운동하는 것을 싫어해요.
This is the third example sentence. 알다, 이 힘이다. When the is removed from the verb 알다, there is a final consonant is lir, so lir is removed and 는 것 is used. So it becomes 아는 것이 힘이다.
Yeah, this is the first example sentence. 저희 엄마는 요리하다를 좋아해요. When we remove 다 from the verb 요리하다, we can use 는 것. So it becomes 저희 엄마는 요리하는 것을 좋아해요.
This is the fifth example sentence. 저는 노래 들으면서 공부하다를 좋아해요. When we remove the from the verb 공부하다, we can use 는 것. So it becomes 저는 노래 들으면서 공부하는 것을 좋아해요.
Yeah, I understand better because I hear the explain through example sentences. Then, from now on, let's practice by looking at example sentence through dialogue. 미소 ask, 나나 씨는 어떤 취미가 있어요? 나나 say, 제 취미는 그림 그리다이에요. When we remove 다 from the verb 그리다, we can use 는 것. So it becomes 제 취미는 그림 그리는 것이에요.
Yes, did you understand all the grammar? Then this time we will have time to practice while solving problems that apply the grammar we learned today. Hello, I'm Chloe.
And I'm Ariana, who will solve problem with you. Then we will try to solve the problem with the grammar we learned today. Look at this sentence and make a sentence using the 는 것 we learned today. The first problem will be solved with us, and for the second problem, we will give you a little time, so please try it. This is the first problem. 친구하고 얘기하다 좋아하세요? How can we change 얘기하다? The answer is 친구하고 얘기하는 것을 좋아하세요? When we remove 다 from the verb 얘기하다 and add 는 것, it becomes 얘기하는 것. Then let's read them all together. 친구하고 얘기하는 것을 좋아하세요? One more time. 친구하고 얘기하는 것을 좋아하세요?
Next problem. 책 읽다 싫어하세요? Please make a sentence. I will give you 5 seconds. Yes, right. The answer is 책 읽는 것을 싫어하세요? When we remove 다 from the verb 읽다 and add 는 것, it becomes 읽는 것. Then let's read them all together. 책 읽는 것을 싫어하세요? Repeat after me louder. 책 읽는 것을 싫어하세요? You did so well.
Next problem. 텔레비전 보다 싫어하세요? Please make a sentence. I'll give you 5 seconds. Yes, that's correct. The answer is 텔레비전 보는 것을 싫어하세요? When we remove 다 from the verb 보다 and add 는 것. It becomes 보는 것. Then let's read them all together. 텔레비전 보는 것을 싫어하세요? One more time. 텔레비전 보는 것을 싫어하세요?
Next problem. 노래 부르다. 싫어하세요? Please make a sentence. I will give you 5 seconds. Yes, that's right. The answer is 노래 부르는 것을 싫어하세요? When we remove the from the verb 부르다 and add 는 것, it becomes 부르는 것. Then let's read them all together. 노래 부르는 것을 싫어하세요? One more time. 노래 부르는 것을 싫어하세요? Do you understand? If you understand, please make a circle of your heads. Yes, thank you.
Next problem. 걷다 좋아하세요? Please make a sentence. I give you 5 seconds. Yes, that's right. The answer is 걷는 것을 좋아하세요? When we remove 다 from the verb 걷다 and add 는 것, it becomes 걷는 것. Then let's read them all together. 걷는 것을 좋아하세요? Repeat after me. 걷는 것을 좋아하세요? Yes, everyone did so well. Teacher Chloe, what's the next problem?
The next problem is to change a verb into a noun by applying the grammar we learned today. 보다. What should we change 보다 to? Yes, right. It is 보는 것. When we remove 다 from the verb 보다 and add 는 것, it becomes 보는 것.
Next problem, 읽다. What should we change 읽다 to? Yes, it is 읽는 것. When we remove 다 from the verb 읽다 and add 는 것, it becomes 읽는 것.
Next problem, 웃다. What should we change 웃다 to? Yes, correct. It is 웃는 것. When we remove 다 from the verb 웃다 and add 는 것, it becomes 웃는 것.
Next problem, 먹다. What should we change 먹다 to? Yes, it is 먹는 것. When we remove 다 from the verb 먹다 and add 는 것, it becomes 먹는 것.
Next problem, 듣다. What should we change 듣다 to? Yes, the answer is 듣는 것. When we remove 다 from the verb 듣다 and add 는 것, it becomes 듣는 것.
Next problem, 만들다. What should we change 만들다 to? Yes, the answer is 만드는 것. When 다 is removed from the verb 만들다, there is a final consonant is 리을. So 리을 is removed and 는 것 is added. Finally, it's become 만드는 것.
Next problem, 그리다. What should we change 그리다 to? Yes, it is 그리는 것. When we remove 다 from the verb 그리다 and add 는 것, it becomes 그리는 것.
Next problem. 응원하다. What should we change 응원하다 to? Yes, it is 응원하는 것. When we remove 다 from the verb 응원하다 and add 는 것, it becomes 응원하는 것.
This is the time to finish the problem solving time. Did you have fun with problem solving time?
Yes, thank you. Next time, we will invite Kelly and Kangmin to have a conversation class.
Hi, I'm teacher Rio.
And I'm Kelly. Everyone, what do you usually do when you have time? Yeah, when I have time, I bake or play computer games. Leo, what do you do when you have time?
I usually read books when I have time.
What books do you read?
저는 판타지 소설을 읽는 것을 좋아해요.
저는 판타지 소설을 읽는 것을 좋아해요.
Here, can you see the 는 것 we learned today? The meaning of this sentence is I like to read fantasy novels. Repeat after me. 저는 판타지 소설을 읽는 것을 좋아해요.
Yes, one more time. 저는 판타지 소설을 읽는 것을 좋아해요. Here, 소설 is novel. And 읽다 is read. And 좋아하다 is like. Everyone, what does novel say in Korean? Yes, that's right. It is 소설.
Then, what does read say in Korean? Yes, it is 읽다.
Yes, and what do you say like in Korean? Yes, that's right. It is 좋아하다.
Let me explain how we used the 는 것 grammar in the sentence. From the verb 읽다, 다 is removed and 는 것 is used. So it becomes 읽는 것.
Ah, I see. So then, please repeat after loudly. 저는 판타지 소설을 읽는 것을 좋아해요.
저는 판타지 소설을 읽는 것을 좋아해요. This time, after I say it quickly, please repeat after me. 저는 판타지 소설을 읽는 것을 좋아해요.
Okay, one more time. 저는 판타지 소설을 읽는 것을 좋아해요. Yes, I also like fantasy novels. Among them, Harry Potter was really impressive for me.
I remember having fun reading Harry Potter. What is Kelly's hobby?
영화 보는 것이 저의 취미예요.
Okay. 영화 보는 것이 저의 취미예요.
Yes, the meaning of this sentence is watching movies is my hobby. Yes, can you see the grammar we learned today written 는 것? Yes, in the verb 보다. 다 is removed and 는 것 is added. So it becomes 보는 것. Okay, one more time. 보는 것. Yes, please repeat after me. 영화 보는 것이 저의 취미예요.
Okay. 영화 보는 것이 저의 취미예요. Here, 영화 is movie. 보다 is watch. 저의 is my. And 취미 is hobby.
Yes, everyone. What do you say movie in Korean? Yes, that's right. It is 영화.
Okay, then what do you say watch in Korean? Yes, it is 보다.
Yes, then what do you say my in Korean? Yes, it is 저의.
So, what do you say hobby in Korean? Yes, that's right. It is 취미.
Okay, repeat after me loudly. 영화 보는 것이 저의 취미예요.
영화 보는 것이 저의 취미예요. This time, after I read it quickly, please repeat after me. 영화 보는 것이 저의 취미예요.
Yes, one more time. 영화 보는 것이 저의 취미예요. Yes, you guys, the pronunciation is almost like Korean.
Okay, Kelly, is there any movie you would recommend for me?
Yes, I would like to recommend a movie called 극한 직업.
What is the movie?
It's the comedy movie and it's a famous movie in Korean. So I hope you watch.
Yes, I definitely see.
Then Leo, do you have any other hobbies?
자전거 타는 것이 저의 또 다른 취미예요.
자전거 타는 것이 저의 또 다른 취미예요.
The meaning of this sentence is riding a bicycle is another hobby of mine. I will explain how 는 것 is used in the sentence. From the verb 타다, 다 is removed and 는 것 is used. So it becomes 타는 것. Okay, please repeat after me. 자전거 타는 것이 저의 또 다른 취미예요.
오케이. 자전거 타는 것이 저의 또 다른 취미예요. As here, 자전거 is bike and 타다 is ride and 또 다른 is another. As did you understand? As and then everyone, what do you say bike in Korean? Yes, that's right. It is 자전거.
Then, what do you say ride in Korean? Yes, it is 타다.
Yes, then what do you say another in Korean? Yes, it is 또 다른. One more time. 또 다른.
Yes, good job. Then, repeat after me slowly. 자전거 타는 것이 저의 또 다른 취미예요.
자전거 타는 것이 저의 또 다른 취미예요.
This time, after I read it quickly, please repeat after me. 자전거 타는 것이 저의 또 다른 취미예요.
Rio, where do you usually ride your bike?
I often ride on the 한강. What does Kelly like?
저는 친구들과 노는 것을 좋아해요.
저는 친구들과 노는 것을 좋아해요.
Yes, the meaning of this sentence is I like to play with my friends. I will explain how 는 것 is used in the sentence. When 다 is removed from the verb 놀다. So real is removed and 는 것 is added. So it becomes 노는 것. Yes, please repeat after me. 저는 친구들과 노는 것을 좋아해요.
저는 친구들과 노는 것을 좋아해요. Here, 저는 is I, 친구들 is friends, and 놀다 is play. Everyone, what do you say I in Korean? Yes, that's right. It is 저는.
Yes, and then what do you say friends in Korean? Yes, that's right. It is 친구들.
Yes, and then what do you say play in Korean? Yes, that's right. It is 놀다.
And then repeat after me slowly. 저는 친구들과 노는 것을 좋아해요.
저는 친구들과 노는 것을 좋아해요. This time, after I read it quickly, please repeat after me. 저는 친구들과 노는 것을 좋아해요.
Yes, one more time. 저는 친구들과 노는 것을 좋아해요. Yes, everyone did so well. Thank you so much.
Today's conversation class ends here. Then Scott and Grace will wrap it up.
Yes, did you understand everything we learned today? Yes, thank you. Then let's review about 는 것. 는 것 is used after the stem of a verb. It is an expression that makes verbs be used like nouns in sentence. It can be used like a noun in front of 이다. So after 는 것, particles such as 은는, 이가, 을을, or 이다 can be used.
For example, there is sentence 저는 뛰는 것을 좋아합니다. Here, 뛰는 것 is a noun that is a conjugation of a basic verb 뛰다. Do you remember?
Of course, but what kind of form is used for 는 것?
Let me explain. 는 것 has the same form which does not change depending on the final consonant or not. First, if you remove 다 from the basic form of a verb, the stem will remain in the verb. After that, 는 것 is added.
For example, if you look at the verb 읽다, is there a final consonant? After that, 는 것 is used. Then it becomes 읽는 것. Also, 는 것 is used even if there is no final consonant in the stem of the verb. For example, if you look at the verb 보다, there is no final consonant, right? After that, 는 것 is used. Then it becomes 보는 것. Can you see the same form with or without final consonant in the stem of a verb?
Yeah, it's really like that. But there is one exception. If there is a final consonant, real, at the verb, remove the real and add the 는 것. For example, there is a sentence 제 남동생은 밖에서 노는 것을 좋아합니다. Here, because the base verb 놀다 has the final consonant real is removed and 는 것 are added.
Yes, then shall we review more through example sentence? This is the first example sentence. 제 취미는 음악을 듣다이에요. When we remove 다 from the verb 듣다, we can use 는 것. So it becomes 제 취미는 음악을 듣는 것이에요.
Yeah, this is the second example sentence. 저는 운동하다를 싫어해요. When we remove 다 from the verb 운동하다, we can use 는 것. So it becomes 저는 운동하는 것을 싫어해요.
This is the third example sentence. 알다 이 힘이다. When that is removed from the verb 알다, there is a final consonant is lir, so lir is removed and 는 것 is used. So it becomes 아는 것이 힘이다.
Yes, I remember better because I hear the explanation through example sentences.
Yes, it is difficult to learn grammar only, but I think I can understand much better because I practice by applying it to example sentence.
Yeah, I think so too. So, what time do we have before finishing today's class? I will tell you the homework. You can use the verbs in parentheses to complete the sentence using the grammar we learned today.
Please do your best with this homework.
Then there will be time for buzzword again today. 여러분 안녕하세요. Today's buzzword is 크크크. 크크크 means LOL or LAMO. Yes, you probably don't know the meaning of this buzzword well. Let me explain. 크크크 is a word used in Korea when it is very funny. 크크크 is used when you want to send a message to friend or express a funny situation. Yes, then today's class is over here. 여러분, 다음 시간에 봐요. 안녕!
Hello everyone, welcome to the Mind Lecture session. Today I'll be talking about self-control. Everyone, have you ever thought that you want to be happy in life? You also want to have a hopeful future? You want to have a bright laughter? And you also want to live a productive life and you want to maximize your youth. If you learn self-control, then you will be able to have all the things that you want. But everyone, let me ask you, as you live your life, at times you might feel wronged, don't you? At times you might feel despised by someone, looked down at, right? And sometimes you might even be used by someone, or you might feel like you have been tricked. Then how you feel when those things happen? Or what if someone bullies you? Or what if you feel like you're unloved by your siblings? At times, we might feel these things in our hearts, but it doesn't stop there. After we feel like we're unloved, we feel like we have been wronged, we feel like we have been despised, then a certain heart starts to arise inside of us. That could be anger, or sadness, or pain. And there's so much more. But when these things arise in our hearts and grow, if we are not able to think a little bit more, in other words, if we're not able to control ourselves, this can actually end up into something really terribly wrong. So everyone, I want to ask you the question, can you control your desires? In other words, can you control yourself? Very important thing to know. Your ability to control yourself is the safety device to freely utilize your youth, everyone. Let me ask you, do you know how to fly a kite? Let me see your hands. You know how to fly a kite? Okay, great. Guess what? When I was younger, I am young, but when I was younger, Me and my brothers and my friends in my neighborhood back in Jamaica, I'm originally from Jamaica. Back in Jamaica, we used to love flying kites. So, you know, we make our kites from bamboo. So what we do, we get our lunch money, we go to school, we don't buy any lunch. We just go and eat our friends, eat out our friends' lunch, and then we will save that money to come home. And what do we buy? We buy long strings, a long thread, and also we buy glue. And then we get a lot of plastic bags, and we will make kites. And we will go down at the bottom of my community, and we would fly the kites together. But everyone, do you know that there are factors to flying a kite? Do you know what these factors are? You can't just fly a kite. There are some things that you need in order to fly a kite. What are those? Can we see a show of hands? What do you think we need to fly a kite? Yes, some people say plastic bag. Okay, what else? Bamboo, the string. Okay, sure. You need all of those things. But guess what? There are some essential things that you need to fly a kite. What are those? First, you need tension. Without a tension, you can't pull a kite up. And the second thing, you need wind. Without any wind at all, then you cannot get the kite up. The third thing that you need is the lift. When the wind meets the kite, the pressure pushes the kite up, that is needed as well. So these three things are needed. They're very necessary in order to fly a kite. So to fly a kite, like I said, we need to have good wind. That's one. We need to have strong strings. And we also need to have good tension. Now, these three factors, what do they represent in our lives, everyone? Right? What do they represent our lives? Why am I telling you about a kite? What does a kite have to do with us? Yes, let's say the kite is our lives. There are three factors that we need as well in order to succeed in life, in order to become a happy person. What are those? We want to have happiness. We also have our desires. And what is our tension? Our control. So there is this strive that the place that we want to go, and that's where? Happiness. Everyone wants to live a happy, a joyful, a successful life, and that's a place that we are striving to. And we also have our desires, right? Those desires are what drives us to the place that we want to get in life. But everyone, if you're not able to control that desire, then what happens? If you're not able to have control over the kite when you're flying it, and this happened to me many times, while we're flying the kite and then the string is very loose, then the kite blows away with the wind. When that happens, everyone, that means I didn't have good tension. When that happens, then I lost the kite. Our lives are the same. Even though we are striving, we want to become happy, and there are our desires that are striving us to become happy, without control, then we get out of hand. And that is why many times people make rational desires in their life, and they make desires and they make the decisions that they cannot come back to change. They regret them in the future. But everyone, what is this control that we're talking about? Yes, everyone, that is being told no. From a young age, if someone is trained being told no from a very young age, then when they grow up, then they will be able to learn when to say no. They'll be able to stop when they come to a certain point where if they go over that edge, then it's the end of their life. If they go over that edge, then they can't turn back. Many people get to that point, and because they were not told no while they were growing up, they didn't learn how to say no, then now they regret the decisions that they have made in life. I want to show a video to give you an example. Now, this is a video about a beautiful city, San Francisco, and how it changed from being a beautiful city to what it is today. Let's watch the video.
There's more feces on the sidewalks than I've ever seen, growing up here. That was something that wasn't the norm.
Than you've ever seen.
Than I've ever seen, for sure.
We surveyed 153 blocks of downtown San Francisco. We spent 3 days walking up and down every street, inspecting more than 20 miles of the city. We found trash on every block, 303 piles of feces, and 100 needles.
There's a website where residents can log complaints with the city. You can go on it at any time and find thousands and thousands of reports about feces. New ones are filed roughly every 20 minutes. In one case, a quote, big bag of poo filled with approximately 20 pounds of feces that was oozing out was discarded on a San Francisco sidewalk.
It's a third world country, but it's not as bad as this.
Dr. Riley has researched some of the dirtiest slums in the world, but believes contamination levels in parts of San Francisco may now be even worse.
Much higher than what we see in places like Brazil or Kenya or India.
She and her class walked right by nearly a dozen drug needles.
And who's responsible for that? It couldn't be the leftist government that runs the city itself, could it? Surely they wouldn't be handing out millions of needles to drug addicts every year. Surely not. I mean, yeah, it's them. At a cost of over $500,000, the city's health department hands out 400,000 syringes a month every month. That's nearly 5 million a year. That's so common that during filming for NBC about this very problem, the new mayor walked right by a guy prepping a needle. In the name of reducing infection from contaminated needles, the health department boasts that it has reduced the number of new HIV infections among people who inject drugs from 106 in 2010 to 38 in 2016. Whoop-de-doo! Out of 400,000 needles distributed monthly, 246,000 come back, leaving 154,000 needles on the streets, in parks and playgrounds. All because the government is giving them out for free.
Did you enjoy that video? Yes, everyone. That beautiful city called Francisco, it was such a beautiful city, but look what it has turned into now. Why is that so? Yes, you see the word right above me. Everyone wants freedom. Let me ask you, which one would you prefer? Would you prefer to do whatever you want? Or would you prefer to have someone telling you no every single time? Which one? Write in the chat box for me. Which one do you prefer? Would you prefer someone telling you no all the time? Or would you prefer to do whatever you want to do? Write in the chat box. Okay, I see a lot of people writing, I want to do whatever I want to do. Not many people are writing that they want to hear no. That is so true. Me, myself as well, I would not be one to be told no. But everyone, let's take San Francisco for example. What's happening? It's crazy. People are afraid to even go on the streets. The tourists, when they come, people tell them, do not come to San Francisco. Why? People are afraid for their lives. The homeless people even go into stores and they can't do anything about it. The store manager, the security guard that is standing by the doors, they can't do anything about it when they come in and steal things from their store. Why is that so? They poop on the street and nobody says anything about it. They build tents and they live on the middle of the street, on the sidewalks. They pour trash all over the street. Why is that so? Why is it that no one can say anything to them? They do drugs however they want, freely. Everyone, because the government gave it to them for free. The government even provided a place for them to go and do drugs freely. Why? This is their theory. They say that anyway, if you give it to them, they're going to find a way, and if you don't give it to them, they're going to find a way and they're going to do it even worse in the street. That's why don't take it away from them. Just put it in a place where they can just do a certain amount. Of course, they're controlling the amount of drugs that they need, but that they're used, but that does not mean that they're still not addicted to drugs. Everyone, the law basically gives them freedom. There is no law that says you can't live on the street like that. There's no law that says that they cannot just go in the store and do what they're doing. Whatever they want. They wanted freedom. When you give them freedom, what happens, everyone? It is true that no one likes to be told no. But what happens if no one says no? This beautiful city called San Francisco, this is how this city looked. But this beautiful city, today it does not look like this. What it turned into? Garbage on the street, poop all over, people living in tents on the street. Everyone, this is not a third world country. But imagine, some third world countries are even better than what San Francisco looks like right now. What happened, everyone? There are many people who want unlimited freedom. In other words, there are people that want to do whatever they want to do. My younger brother, while we were growing up, we were very poor. So our mom would go to several jobs. She would work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different jobs just to send us to school. Why? I don't want to get too personal, but my dad, he always disappears. He always leaves home for about a month or 2, and then he would come back. And when he comes back, he doesn't have enough money. My dad actually made casket. You know, a casket that when you're burying someone, you have to put them in that box, that rectangular box, and then bury them. Yes, that's what my father does. So in Jamaica, if you do that kind of job, you make good money. But that money did not come into our house. So we were very poor, and our mom had to work very hard to make the money for us to go to school. But my younger brother, he would steal that money and use it to buy things with his friends. Everyone, you know, he doesn't need to steal that money. But from that young age, when he started to steal it, of course, many times my mom did not find out. Many times I was blamed for what happened. But because of that, growing up, he was not being able to break his heart from that young age. After we came to America, he went to the candy store and he was stealing chocolate. Everyone, do you think we don't have money to buy chocolate for him? How much is a chocolate? $5? $10? $15? It's something we can afford. But why does he do it? Because from that young age, he was doing whatever he wanted to. From that young age, nobody was telling him no. So when he comes to America, what he does what he wants. He actually can just ask, hey, brother, can I get some chocolate? He can just ask. But why didn't he? Everyone, you might think it's a simple problem, and you might think that this is nothing, but this is how many people are living today. Without self-control, they get angry or they have some rational thoughts about something or someone, and look at the news. When you see people commit suicide, what does the parents say? Oh, my son, he was such a nice guy. I never saw any sign of him wanting to commit suicide. He was a good person. I don't know what got into him. Everyone, it was in him already. He just had one rational thought. My parents don't love me. One rational thought. Oh, those guys, they don't like me. That teacher, she doesn't like me. Just following that rational thought without thinking one more time or 2 more times, then that's how they end up living a miserable and regretful life. Many people, why do they end up stealing? I have to get it. I have to get it. I must get it. They have this kind of desire. Everyone, so what if you cannot get what you want? Does that mean you will not be happy? Everyone, there are so many people in this world. Think about it, celebrities all over the world. The K-pop idols that you guys like so much, they have a lot of money. They have a lot of fame. But are they truly happy? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Everybody wants to have that unlimited freedom, or they want to live a life where they can do whatever they want to do. But the question is, are they truly happy? Do you think so? Is that the life that you want to live? You want to live like an idol. You want to live where you can do everything that you want to do, whatever you want to do, without being told no? Then what will happen? People, everything will fall apart in our lives. People don't like to be told no. But when no one says no, everything will fall apart, just like San Francisco did. A beautiful city like San Francisco is not a third world country. That city is beautiful, but what happens when there was no one saying no? People were going into stores and robbing it and stealing stuff in broad daylight, and nobody could say anything. Why? The law was protecting them. People were pooping on the street. The government just leave them. People were doing drugs. The government helped them to do drugs. They thought they were doing something good for the people, giving them freedom. They thought that if they give them this kind of freedom, then the crime rate will reduce. They thought that the way the homeless people will reduce. No, it got worse. It got worse. When no one says no, everyone, everything falls apart. When no one tells us, and when we have no one to tell us no, and no one can help us from the undesirable future. When you do whatever you want to do, then who's going to stop you from making choices that you will regret for the rest of your life? I've been to many juvenile center, detention centers, and I talk with many of the juveniles there. What do they say? I never intended to do that. That was not my plan. Well, why do you do it? I don't know. There's something that's pulling me, something that's driving me to do it. Their desires. I must get it. I have to get it. That's what led my brother to steal chocolate from stores. He doesn't have to get it. But that desire that's pulling him, telling him that you must get it. You have to get it. What does it lead you to? Everyone, without learning to control your desires, then you have no control over your life. Do you want to have control over your life? Yes, I'm sure you want to. But you cannot have control over your life without having control over your desires. In the same way, if you're driving a really nice car, a very fast car, and if the brake does not work, you will have no control over that car. Then what will happen? You will get in an accident. You will get in an accident and you ruin your life. So very important thing, when you're driving a very nice car, very fast car, if the brakes works well, then you have control over that car. In the same way, if we're able to establish this brake in our lives called self-control, then we will have control over our lives. And then you'll be able to live that happy, successful, and beautiful life that you want to live. Everyone, take from this mind lecture today that if you want to live a happy, bright, and beautiful life, you must learn how to control, learn how to say no, learn how to step back. And I believe that once you're able to implement this kind of mindset in your life, then you'll be able to reach that point of happiness that you're looking for. Thank you guys so much for listening today, and I hope that you're enjoying all the Korean classes. And until next time, and I will see you. Bye!